A very good evening to you. You're live here on GHOne TV. Time for News Tonight with me, Natalie. A look at our top stories. Caterers under school feeding program appeal to Gender Ministry and School Feeding Secretariat to reconsider terminating their contracts.
Was able to come out and tell us something. We know what to do, but to refuse to come out and talk to us. That's why yesterday we wrote a petition to the IMF, World Bank, the Secretariat, and then the Ministry.
Also coming up, tensions brew in Ablekuma North Constituency as NDC slams EC over uncertainty of date for recollation of results. Foreign Affairs Minister begins door-to-door delivery of new chip-embedded passports.
Many Ghanaians are just giving up because of the frustration, the red tape, the bureaucracy. Over 70,000 passports uncollected. They are just been abandoned for several months.
Ahead in business, Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA, enhances its operations as it implements 24-hour service model. Also coming up, Sports Minister and GFA President lays wreath at Accra Sports Stadium in commemoration of May 9 disaster. The details of these and much more news here on News Tonight. Do stay with us. Details now here on News Tonight on GHOne TV. Wherever you are in the world, you can follow this bulletin live on Facebook and X at GHOne TV. The NDC has accused the Electoral Commission of incompetence following its failure to settle on Ablekuma North results after several months. Tensions continue to brew in the constituency, with both the MPP and the NDC claiming victory of the seat. Amid this growing uncertainty, the Inspector General of Police, Christian Tete GHOne, made a firm call on the Electoral Commission to provide a clear date, time and venue to complete the collation of the outstanding polling stations. The IGP indicates the National Election Security Task Force is ready and waiting on the EC for a clear roadmap and timelines.
At the high-level national security meeting in Accra, involving the country's top security chiefs and stakeholders, Inspector General of Police Christian Tete GHOne addresses what he described as a pivotal test for Ghana's democracy.
History often reflects on nations tested by pivotal moments. This is such a moment. The way we handled the situation in Ablekuma North will resonate across the country. It will set the tone not only for this election, but also for public confidence in the years to come.
With both major political parties locked in a premature victory contest, the IGP emphasized that security agencies are not referees of electoral outcome, but guardians of the democratic space.
We as security agencies are not arbiters of election results. That responsibility lies solely with the Electoral Commission. We have to secure the environment within which the truth is determined, not to decide the outcome of ourselves.
The IGP demanded a clear roadmap detailing the date, time, and venue to enable the security apparatus to provide the needed protection and ensure calm.
We will guard against any attempt by anyone to distort this process through threats or violence. Let us secure not just ballot boxes, but also believe in the system. Let us protect not just physical lives, but the spirit of democracy. Let us stand firm, not in confrontation, but in conviction. Ghana deserves nothing less.
In response, the Deputy Director of Operations at the Electoral Commission, Samuel Tete, expressed gratitude to the National Election Security Task Force assurance for the task.
We are grateful to the National Election Security Task Force, and we hope that as a commission, as we engage each other over here, we will actually have solutions to the challenges that we've actually had so far as the conclusion of the Ablekuma collation process is concerned. Will bring to an end the issues surrounding the challenges due to the collation of the process.
The eyes of the nation are indeed on Ablekuma, and as the Electoral Commission prepares to finalize the collation, the actions or inactions of all stakeholders will shape the narrative of this election.
Meanwhile, Deputy Director of Operations at the Presidency, Mustapha Gbande, in an interview on Star News, condemned the EC for the delay and demanded an expedition of the process to preserve electoral integrity.
We are at crossroads where I will not be the one to prefer the solution, but I stand strongly to say that the Mensa should not be anywhere close to our election. A crop of commissioners at the commission should not be anywhere close to our election if we really need to sustain our democracy, to ensure that we have free, credible, and a fair election in this country. These are not the kind of people to handle that election because they are deficient of capability. Look, you are aware that even assembly elections, as we are speaking, we are still conducting assembly elections at some parts of this country. Are you not surprised? Is it not bizarre? Is it not strange that we have had assembly 1 year down the line, there are places we are still having assembly elections supervised by the Mensa, Osman Asari, and her ills within the commission. And so I will not be able to say whether we need a new commission or we don't need a new commission, but certainly these people are incompetent, they are not capable, and they cannot be able to deliver, an election without rancor and without all the noises that we could have avoided if we had persons with credibility to manage the process. I do not know. I have just said that the NDC have explored avenues to try and, solicit responses and feedback from the Electoral Commission as to where we are standing as far as that constituency is concerned. They have blatantly refused to respond. We had proceeded further to write to seek audience with the Inspector General of Police in respect of, the state at which we are now, only for the Electoral Commission to run to the IGP to meet with Election Task Force. How do we meet, or how does the Electoral Commission meet with an election task force without political parties? Who are the primary stakeholders in this? It is MPP, NDC. Why are they not there? What are we discussing? So clearly, somebody is being mischievous. And if there's anybody being mischievous, it is Jim Mensa, Osman Asari, and her other colleagues who are within the commission. So that is what we should be asking.
On this a while longer and go on to the phone lines and engage with the communications director of the MPP, Richard Ahiagba, for more on this development. Good evening to you, Richard. Now you hear the concerns being raised there about the delay. What is the MPP's official position regarding this delay in declaring the Ablekuma North results? Richard, if you're hearing me, I'm asking what the party's stance is when it comes to the delay in declaring these results.
Well, if I hear your question. The party has won. And the NDC knows that. That's how come they're going around in circles, trying to create difficulties, blaming the same Electoral Commission that made them win a historical election. So for me, the issues are clear. The Ghana Police Service, the IGP, is supposed to provide security for the recollation. Recollation to take place, and if they're ready to do that, I think that the EC should come together, the party should come, and let us count Ablekuma.
Well, Richard, what the NDC is saying, it's accusing the EC of incompetence, as you heard there as well, accusing the chairperson and Osman Asari specifically of incompetence. What's your response to that claim? Now, you say that the NDC knows that the MPP has won, but what's your response to the claim and accusing the chairperson and the commission of incompetence? Engage Richard Ahiagba, the Director of Communications with the MPP, to get his thoughts on this. Meanwhile, Chairperson of the National Commission for Civic Education, Kathleen Addy, wants the residents of Ablekuma North and Ghanaians in general to remain calm as authorities work on bringing finality to the Ablekuma North election dispute.
Know that we are in a democracy and elections is part of the democratic culture and system. And in every election, there is a winner and a loser. There is no middle ground. There's never been. Even in the general elections, we had a winner and we had a loser. So I want to urge the people of Ghana, particularly the people of Ablekuma North, to accept the results as declared by the Electoral Commission. This is the way to build the democracy. We cannot continue to insist that we have won all the time. That is why we have institutions that have proven track record of credibility. So I am urging all of us to conclude the 2024 election completely by accepting the last set of results that are going to be declared for Ablekuma North. For politicians, I'm sure they all understand that we live to fight another day, isn't it? It's not the end of the world to lose, and it's actually not the end of the world to win as well.
Well, away from this issue, which we'll return to subsequently, caterers under the school feeding program are appealing to the Gender Ministry and the School Feeding Secretariat to reconsider terminating their contracts. PRO of the National School Feeding Caterers Association, Aji Zatu Accra, told GHOne News the contracts should be allowed to run until August, as caterers have already made preparations. She warned that an abrupt termination will disrupt feeding and affect their investments.
Our contract will end on the 25th of August. So we are just pleading for them to allow us to cook on the 25th because all the food items have been bought already. Some of us have prepared our stews in our freezer, just waiting for the reopening of the stew. Unfortunately, when we received the message on Friday, whereby on Tuesday we have to start working. That's why on Monday we went to the Secretariat, but the minister refused to talk to us. We were there yesterday. If she was able to come out and tell us something, we know what to do. But she refused to come out and talk to us. That's why yesterday we wrote a petition to the IMF, World Bank, the Secretariat, and then the ministry. So tomorrow, the chief counsel will go tomorrow, and then we will send the delegation to go and find out, and for him to give us the time for us to move to.
You're watching News Tonight here on GH1 TV. We've got lots more news coming up shortly. Do stay. You're watching News Tonight here on GHOne TV. Well, let's return to our earlier story concerning caterers under the school feeding program, appealing to the Gender Ministry and the School Feeding Secretariat to reconsider terminating their contracts, looking at the implications of this termination. Having joined us on the phone lines now is Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Dr. Agnes Momo Latte. Good evening to you. Thank you for joining us here on News Tonight. Now, first of all, can you explain and bring some clarity as to what exactly informed this decision to terminate the school feeding contracts?
Thank you very much. Good evening to all of you. And it's a pleasure to talk to you this evening. The school feeding program, as you know, has been bedeviled with lots of issues and challenges. And so we've gone through some processes of engaging stakeholders to know the way forward. And part of the engagement processes, we realized that there's a need to align it to the President's vision of building quality in the service we render to these children and then the nation. And so as part of the processes, we'll also be going digital in terms of the caterer procurement. And so we looked at all of these things, and then on monitoring, realized that most of the caterers were also not cooking. So after December 7th, most of them have not been cooking. And you cannot just assume that every caterer was interested in still cooking for the schools, especially where they've not been cooking. So before we even go digital in procuring their services for the next academic year, there was a need to have some solid data on caterers to work with. And so this is one of the processes we've had to go through to get to that level. And so it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that this is happening, but we know it's not a discomfort for just them, a discomfort for all of us, but it is to build in the quality and sustainability.
Right. Now you say that you initially engaged stakeholders extensively, but one key service provider or stakeholder are the caterers themselves, who are complaining and are calling for the decision to be terminated. Were they engaged with adequately?
Adequately is quite relative, and that is the time we do not have. You know, the period for vacation and then when school resumes is quite brief, and so if you need to take decisions, it will come with some consequences, and those are the things that we are looking at. My last engagement with the caterers was the fact that I drove up the fact that there was a need for us to use dialogue in expressing our views and opinions, because they have been in this service, and I give it to them that they know the challenge, the challenges in doing the work they do, and I appreciate them having to do with the little that is available for them. And so I don't take them for granted at all. When they are choose, and then the first thing you do is to, go on demonstration, go on in red bands and the rest. It makes it brings extra layers of blockages and bureaucracy in engaging, and it becomes something that blocks the communication that is supposed to go on between us. And being who they are and what the mandate of the ministry is, I have expressly said that there was a need for us to see and understand ourselves, because most of them in this are women. And I can't empathize with any other person if I can't understand them. And so this is really, really unfortunate. And I believe that once they know very well, I don't know what the fear is, but once they know very well that there's the window that they can reapply, that assurance has been there, that you can reapply. We will look at the services that have been rendered to the children over the period and if it meets expectations and standards, there's no fear at all because you will have the opportunity to serve. So that is what we are looking at and encouraging them that they still have the opportunity to reapply.
Right. Very well. Now, you say that they have the opportunity to reapply and therefore should not be afraid given this move taken. However, you're also touching on quality, sustainability. What are these, what's the standard that you're seeking to see in this reapplication of those that choose to do so?
Having looked at the president's vision and having engaged what he wants to do in terms of resetting Ghana, you will realize that what I sum it up to, that if you cannot feed it to yourself, whatever you are preparing, if you can't feed it to yourself or feed it to your children, then don't feed it to other people's children or others. And so basically, it should be good enough for you to feed on. And that is the quality we want to, ensure that is there. We want to ensure that the various nutritional values that are supposed to be part of the component feeding is also there. There should be consistency in terms of payment, and it should be timely, such that the children don't suffer. So in suffering this discomfort at this stage, it is important that after this stage, the subsequent stages will not suffer this level of discomfort. I'm only encouraging them that we should be, all of us should more or less be with the system to ensure that quality and consistency in serving the children is there. And then the monitoring measures are also strong enough. We don't skip some of the levels in order to, fast track things, but to ensure that there's consistent monitoring and the results and things that come out of it after evaluation are well implemented to keep improving the program, because it is very expensive to run it and nothing should go to waste.
Well, thank you for your time this evening. Dr. Agnes Namomo Late joining us, the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection. You're watching News Tonight here on GHOne TV. In other top stories, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto Ablekuma, has kick-started the door-to-door delivery of the newly launched chip-embedded passports to the Ghanaian public, as promised by the ministry. In an interview, he stated that the initiative will bring an end to the phenomenon of uncollected passports. Here are excerpts.
Today is the first day of delivery. Remember that I promised that we will make sure that you do not have to go back to the passport application center for your passport. I promised that passports will be delivered under 15 days. I also promised that the passport head office will work 24 hours, consistent with President Mohammed's 24-hour economy vision for Ghana. And today I decided to join Ghana Post on their delivery runs to be sure that the new policies are working. And I'm really satisfied with what I have experienced today. The Ghanaian people are receiving their passports stress-free, no frustration, no middleman, no borrow boy. They don't have to go back to the passport application center. Now, this is going to end that phenomenon of uncollected passports. Remember that when I took office and went round, I noticed that many Ghanaians are just giving up because of the frustration, the red tape, the bureaucracy. Over 70,000 passports uncollected. They are just been abandoned for several months. And I thought that no. I mean, in this day and age, with modern technology, we cannot continue doing the same old things and frustrating the Ghanaian people. So let us reform. Let's make sure that passport delivery is more convenient.
I'll say I'm overwhelmed, and I love it. The features are unique and it's nice, and everything is on point. There's no mistake with the date or name or anything. They should keep up with the good work. This is good. Free delivery by Ghana Post. It's the best. You can have this anywhere. I mean, we've improved as a nation. I applied in March. Yes, mid-March. Yeah.
Away from that, Acting Chief Justice Paul Bafoboni has cautioned newly enrolled lawyers against allowing personal gain to dictate their practice of law. He emphasized that the legal profession requires diligent service, earning, preserving, and sometimes defending it with integrity. Justice Bafoboni made this call while addressing the 2025 mini call to the bar ceremony, where 123 qualified lawyers were being inducted into the profession. EIB Network's legal affairs correspondent Natalie reports.
It is an exciting day at the Accra International Conference Center. 123 new lawyers have been added to the pool at the mini call after they successfully gone through the procedure activated by the General Legal Council, the body that regulates legal education, legal profession in the country. And some of them have been waiting for this moment for so many years, some 7 years, some 10 years, some 8 years, some even at the first trial, they have been able to make it to this day. A moment after they have been called to the bar, the Acting Chief Justice Paul Bafoboni, has an advice for them.
Do not be tempted to turn the practice of law into a business for personal gain alone. And let me repeat this. Do not be tempted to turn the practice of law into a business for personal gain alone. Only. It is a calling to service. Do not turn justice into a commodity. It is a value which is earned, preserved, and sometimes defended with courage.
On pro bono services, they have this to say.
I'm a product of pro bono because a lot of people have invested into my life. I have had people pay my fees. I've had people buy me books. I have had people do me favors that for me I felt I didn't deserve. Pro bono will be part of my calling.
I think it's very necessary. I don't think we can do without it because the journey hasn't been singular. I haven't come this far alone. There's been a significant number of people who have invested in me spiritually, financially, emotionally, and in various ways. So there's no way we can do without pro bono services. We'll definitely do it, yes.
Look at doing more pro bono, trying to make sure that justice is served and all that. I think that is what we should be looking at.
Lawyers also undertake some voluntary services to help the underprivileged who also deserve that legal services. It means that it is important that someone undertake pro bono services.
Since you decided to enter into the profession, you should be available to take on a pro bono case because not everybody will have money on this journey.
In few times to come, we'll be here to find out whether indeed their responses to pro bono services is really what it is on the ground. But the point now is that 123 lawyers have been called to the bar. They are so much excited about this day. The main call is in October, where some more will be added. But until then, the moment is theirs. Natalie, GHOne.
Well, from the legal profession, let's turn to the field of journalism, where there is big news as EIB Network's multiple award-winning journalist Ridwan Kareem Dini Osman has been named a Neyman Fellow at Harvard University for the 2025-2026 academic year. He is the only African selected to join this year's prestigious global cohort of 22 journalists. This year's cohort includes journalists from the New York Times, Los Angeles Times, the Washington Post, NPR, The Guardian, and Bloomberg News. Dini Osman, a senior broadcast journalist at GHOne TV and Star FM, will spend the year in the U.S. studying how African newsrooms can better report on marginalized groups despite legal and cultural barriers. Known for his bold and impactful reporting, Ridwan has dedicated his career to telling stories that matter and has reported from across Africa, the US, and Asia, covering issues such as global health inequities, social justice, and sustainable development. The Neyman Fellowship, now in its 88th year, allows journalists to take classes at Harvard, collaborate with top researchers, and explore the future of journalism. EIB Network's news editor, Alice Aite, says the team is proud of Ridwan's achievements, calling it a major milestone for Ghanaian journalism on the global stage. The fellowship begins in August this year. Congratulations once again to our very own Ridwan Kareem Dini Osman. Certainly great news there. Away from that, let's turn to business news. Business news tonight. Transport Minister Joseph Bukari Nikpe has charged the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority DVLA to enhance its operations and uphold its core mandate as it implements the 24-hour service model. Speaking at the launch of a new state-of-the-art DVLA office in Adenta, the minister urged the authority to enhance its service delivery and provide efficient, high-quality services to Ghanaians while ensuring compliance with safety and registration standards for all vehicles on the road.
The 24-hour economy, popularly known as one job, 3 people, 3 shifts, was one of President John Dramani Mahamat's flagship policies during his campaign ahead of the 2024 elections. The initiative was designed to boost national productivity and improve public access to essential services by ensuring continuous operations across key institutions. The Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA, is among the first agencies to implement this 24-hour service model. This was highlighted during the commissioning of a new state-of-the-art DVLA office in the Adentan municipality. Giving his address during the launch, CEO for DVLA, Julius Nikwe Kote, revealed the licensing department has successfully printed over 107,000 licenses within just 3 months under the 24-hour project.
Assuming office, I inherited a significant backlog of license applications pending printing. One of my immediate priorities was to operationalize a 24-hour service at the print farm to clear this backlog. I am pleased to report that we are making remarkable progress in resolving this challenge.
He further announced plans to establish 6 offices outside Ghana to curb the use of fake licenses by Ghanaians living abroad, adding that the pilot phase will be implemented in Germany and Canada, among others.
We are going to open 6 new stations that is going to be outside Ghana. So just for licensing issues. So far, we've held meetings with some ambassadors and they've agreed to the policy. Countries on board: Germany, UK, USA, Canada, Dubai, and South Africa.
Transport Minister Joseph Bukari Nikpe urged DVLA to ensure that all vehicles on the road are roadworthy. He called on the National Road Safety Authority and the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority to work together and educate vehicle users on the need to ensure their vehicles are roadworthy.
DVLA as it is supposed to ensure that all vehicles on our roads are roadworthy. They and the National Road Safety Authority are supposed to come together and give that education to the people. So for now, we are aware that there are so many vehicles that are not roadworthy on our roads. We want to first engage them, and we have started doing the education, the importance for which they need to maintain and keep their vehicles roadworthy.
As the 24-hour project gains momentum, the commissioning of the Adentan 24-hour DVLA office marks a significant step toward improving efficiency, accessibility, and public trust in government institutions.
In other business news tonight, the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana has assured the public of a reduction in prices of goods, but only after clearing existing stock, which was procured when the exchange rate was 15 cedis to $1. This comes in response to an appeal by the finance minister, who called for price reductions following the recent appreciation of the cedi and a decline in inflation. However, speaking to Star News, Executive Chairman of the association, Reverend GHOne explained that members can only effect reductions after selling off their current inventory.
It is gaining strength against the dollar. It is only prudent and only patriotic that people also begin to let their prices reflect But the fact is that it will not happen just overnight. Ghana is a credit market. And most of the goods that are in the market were sold at a certain exchange rate. And those goods have to be seeded out before the new ones, which will reflect the current exchange rate, go into the market and then be sold at lower prices. So it's going to be a gradual process, and it's not going to be like everybody one day in the morning will wake up and they are reducing prices and all that. If you sold goods to your customers in the market at the exchange rate of 15 cedis to $1, and now it is 13.2 cedis, and they are still holding stock, you cannot tell them to reduce the price, because they bought it at that exchange rate. So they will have to sell those ones out, come and buy the goods that is at 13.2 cedis to $1, and sell it at accordingly. So that's what's supposed to happen.
Well, let's stay on this and speak with Executive Secretary of the Association, that's the Food and Beverages Association, Samson Asaki Awingobit, on this development. Good evening to you, and thank you for joining us here on News Tonight. From hearing the plea of the minister, are you willing to comply?
Good evening and good evening to your listeners. Let me make a correction. I am not Executive Secretary for Food and Beverages Association. I am the Executive Secretary for Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana.
Thank you. Do please carry on.
Good. So yes, the minister has made a prudent call because since he took over the office, he has been working vigorously to make sure that he and his management teams are able to bring measures and policies and strategies to stabilize our cedi and the dollar as well. I think that the government have done a good job. As my colleague said, Reverend Awoni said, it is true, people bought goods for the past 3 months or for the past 6 months at a certain rate. If today the rate is falling, what it means is that they may want to still sell at a price, be able to recoup. But the point is, you can only sell it at a higher price if the dollar rate were high. Because at the end of the day, if you make sales, you are going to buy the dollar, isn't it? And so if we are buying dollar at 15 and now a dollar is going for 13 cedis, I see no reason why you continue to sell it at 15 when you are going to buy dollar at 13 cedis. I would only call for a very stronger policies that will make sure that at least we have a very sustainable stability, and we also have a very strong, sustainable inflation rate dropping more further. That would give purchasing power to the ordinary citizenry. Because if I were buying dollar at the 15 cedis and today I'm buying dollar at 13 cedis, I see no reason why I will make my prices still at 15 cedis. When I can make when someone will make it at
the explanation provided by the executive chairman of the association, the Food and Beverages Association, as you heard earlier, is that members can only effect these reductions after selling their current inventory, given that this inventory was taken stock of when the dollar was at its previous. The cedi to dollar was at the previous rate. So what do you make of that?
I agree. It's said Ghana is traded on credit basis. What it means is that you are a loyal person, very trustworthy, business well on trustworthy, and so your supplier has supplied goods on credit. But the point is, you still are going to pay in dollars. You are buying dollar at 16 cedis or at 7 cedis or at 14 cedis, and today you are buying the same dollar at 13 cedis. I know, naturally, automatically, the economic stability will even push you to reduce your prices so that you can push your price to go quickly, so you can go back to buy. Because at the end of the year, you're going to service your loan or you're going to service your supplier with dollar, and that is true. But if I can only adjust my price because I know if I sell one item, I'm going to buy $1. And so if I were buying dollar at 14 cedis or at 15 cedis, and today that same dollar has come to 13 cedis, what it means is that I will still make the profit that I was going to do. I strongly believe that naturally, things will come down, things will stabilize. But as I said, it cannot get overnight, but within the time, and that's why I'm talking about sustainability. All what we expect government to do is to make sure that there is a very strong stability. Then, of course, automatically you see prices and goods and services will definitely come down drastically. That one we will see. While the inflation is coming down, while the exchange is coming down, that is what's going to happen.
Very well. Well, Samson Asakia-Wingobit, Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association, thank you for your time this evening. In some other news, the opposition New Patriotic Party has downplayed the recent strengthening of the Ghana cedi, attributing the development not to sound government policy, but rather to global shifts in investor sentiment away from U.S. bonds. At a press conference on Thursday, May 8, 2025, Minority Leader Alexander Afeno-Markin insisted the local currency's performance is being wrongfully hailed as a domestic success story.
They claim that the cedi is strong because of the government's effort. I am a businessman. I will be happy any day if our local currency is strong, because that would help grow the business of Ghanaians, including me, who is a private sector player. But that is not the case. In this government administration, we know all they know is deceit. They are claiming credit for what they have not achieved. We know on the global stage, the US dollar itself is having its own challenges. Recently, the ICE US dollar index, measuring the dollar strength against a basket of major currencies, indicated that the US dollar has slipped below 100 as market rule from rising sell America sentiment. The dollar is weakening not because the cedi is strong, but because investors are losing faith in the greenback itself. So this is not an NDC miracle. This is a global monetary turbulence. This is currency recalibration on a planetary scale.
You're watching News Tonight. That's it for the business segment. Next, we bring you sports news.
Hello there, welcome to the sports segment here on News Tonight. My name is Joel Champo. Let's start our very first story with today marking May 9th. And a solemn gathering was held at the Accra Sports Stadium earlier this morning to mark the 24th anniversary of the May 9th stadium disaster, which claimed 127 lives during a Premier League game between Accra Hearts of Oak and Kumasi Asante Kotoko in 2001. The memorial ceremony drew together football administrators, government officials, families of victims and club representatives to remember the lives lost and recommit to ensuring stadium remains safe. Since the incident, the annual commemorative event have been organized to honor the victims and reflect on the lessons learned. This year's remembrance brought together key stakeholders of Ghana's football, government officials and club representatives to commemorate the day. All right, so the Sports Minister, Honorable Kofi Idi Adams, and GFA President Ketu Kreku have been speaking at the event.
Gather here this morning to commemorate the May 9th incident in 2001. We must not only be commemorating the day, but we must be reminding ourselves as club owners, as technical team members, as fans of various clubs and lovers of football, that whilst we chant and support our teams, we must not move these chants to the levels of what? Violence.
If we continue to be hooligans, we will continue to lose lives. But that is not the essence of football. Football is and will continue to bring all of us together. Football must be enjoyed in a safe environment. And football must ensure that we come together, be ourselves, enjoy, and go back home in peace. Fortunately, the past 24 years has also offered all of us the chance to rebuild our sport. to make our environment, our sporting environment, much more safer than it used to be 24 years ago.
Still on the May 9th, we sampled views of some fans in town about what they remember and lessons learned so far.
Yes, when you be because sadly, see no ye pa only asanga sadly besa sans bio Ghana football and yet yes say katokueku yes no mama any minister no mama money ko sports na bibi anya fine.
I don't really go to stadiums, but then I think you'll be cautious. We are cautious now. Yeah, you wouldn't like same thing to happen again. So yeah, everyone will be cautious, and we just need maximum security. They should enforce like where they shouldn't actually go beyond where they should be. Yeah. So it's just the security that have to actually enforce them to get it.
It's idea no say obi anim left and right. Are you getting it? Minia obi anim left and right. Nti say na say mu say saade no munjai. So enya say yensua bibi mfim. Yeah. Ti the American unia. Ti the American yes yensua bibi mfim. Say no anytime every day every year bia yes saade no. See yensua no mfim ana me boa. Yes. Eti me there. Be me hu ni say de me hu ade ni say. Yeah. E ba na sa ye ma ye kan krofo ya. Obi try be afi.
All right, let's move away from that. And President of the Ghana Paralympic and Africa Paralympic Committee, Samson Dean, has called on the Director General for National Sports Authority, Mr. Yampo for Accra, to resist political interferences and instead concentrate on advancing the development of sports in the country.
I feel that you are a brother, you have been a good brother, that I need to work with you, and definitely in my team you find MPP people that I trust so much and I work with them, because in sports we don't do politics, as you are aware. We always preach outside, we do not do politics in sports, but we are politicians. We do politics outside the sports, and for that matter I think that is the major advice I can give you, because I have gone through the same experience where they know that it's Samson who has to be taxed to do this job, but because of people do not trust that I can keep information that belongs to the industry and feel that I will sell them out, they will speak against you through the officer who has the power to append the signature and said you are included in this committee. But when they start, they will end up involving me later. But at that time, we are late. The same people will come to you again this time. The same people will come, maybe not because of me, because now they feel that I'm also in power. So they might not come and talk about me, but they will come and talk about other people who are very, very competent, who will help you to achieve. It affected many of those who were here before. When they realized that they shouldn't have done that, it was too late.
Let's move away from that and do something on boxing now. And Accra is set to witness a thrilling night of boxing as Ghana and Nigeria square off in two explosive UBO Africa Continental title bouts on Friday, May 9th at the Indoor Event Center in Dantuman. Kabik Promotion is bringing together some West African top boxing talent with pride, power, and prestige on the line.
The gloves are on and the stakes are high as Ghana readies itself for a night of continental boxing fireworks. On Friday, May 9, all road leads to the plush Idro-White Event Center in Dansoman, Accra, where Kabik Promotions stages a Ghana-Nigerian showdown for the two UBO Africa Continental Championships. Ghana's Emmanuel Mankata will take on Nigeria's Yusuf Mohammed Olalekan in a super featherweight division. About the promises, fast fists, and fiery exchanges. Kofi Dana against Nigerian slugger Suleiman Olagbade, two warriors with power in both hands and a title dream in their sights in the super welterweight category. The undercard is equally stacked. Michael Ankamatete faces Daniel Kwe in an 8-round welterweight contest, while middleweight Michael Darko lock horns with Patrick Kujo over 10 rounds. Also on the bill, a 10-round super welterweight contest between Emmanuel Kwe and Joseph Tego, and an 8-round clash featuring Frederick Lawson and Justice Adi. The night promises explosive action, patriotic passion, and unforgettable knockouts. Tickets are going fast in 3 categories: 50 cedis for the popular stand, 100 cedis for the regular, and 200 cedis for VIP. With Ghana and Nigeria's pride on the line, boxing fans are in for a night of epic battles. Will the belt stay home or cross the border? The ring actions will tell. Peter Kwao Adatos reports for GHOne News.
All right, that's it for sports here on News Tonight. Natalie, over to you.
Yes, Joel, great having you with the sports news. Thank you. Now let's turn to some more local stories this evening before we wrap up, as the 2 Ghanaian women abducted and trafficked in Nigeria, Evelyn Sewa-Konedu and Anastasia Beidou, have been safely returned to Ghana. Their return marks the end of a high-stakes rescue operation and the beginning of a new phase in ongoing investigations.
Their rescue was made possible through a collaborative effort between the Ghana Police Service, the Nigeria Police Force, and the National Signals Bureau of Ghana. As we stated then, arrangements were underway to safely transport the victims back to Ghana. I am pleased to confirm that at 1:45 p.m. today, on an Africa World Airlines flight from Abuja to Accra, I received the victims at Kotoka International Airport. They were accompanied by an official of the Research Department of the Ghana High Commission, who confirmed that they were actually the victims we were expecting, and she's here with us today, as she's been introduced earlier, to prove that she actually came with them. Both women are in stable condition and will receive the necessary medical attention. Following that, they will go through standard police procedures to provide their accounts to assist with ongoing investigations. The Ghana Police Service remains steadfast in its core mandate of crime prevention, detection, apprehension and prosecution of offenders. We are committed to ensuring that Ghana remains a safe and secure place for all. On behalf of the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Christian Tete-Yohonu, and the entire police administration, I extend sincere appreciation to all officers who contributed to this successful operation. Our deepest gratitude also goes to the Director General of the Research Department, whose committed efforts facilitated the safe passage of the victims from Abuja to Ghana. Finally, we would like to take this opportunity to alert the general public to a concerning rise in romance scams and other forms of online fraud. We urge everyone to exercise heightened caution when interacting with unknown persons online. Please refrain from sharing personal or financial information and report any suspicious behavior to the police immediately.
And next on the bulletin, we bring you entertainment news. Ghanaian High Life legend and coordinator of the Black Star Experience, Rex Owusu-Marfo, popularly known as Rex Omar, has called for a deliberate national effort to shape Ghana's image internationally. He emphasized the need for Ghanaians to take charge of their own narrative as the country works to position itself as the #1 tourism destination in Africa. Speaking on GH Today, Rex Omar highlighted that the Black Star Experience initiative will not be limited to Accra, but will be extended across all regions of the country.
Intentional about we have been working like working without our eye, you know. But if you go to any country, for you to see the people, you see the people through their culture, their films, their music. Because we've been neglecting this aspect of our culture and our economy, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama says no resetting. Reset means go back and recover your steps. So now we're going to be intentional in our filmmaking, in our storytelling, because if we don't do that, other people will create the narrative for us their own way. Yes. So now we are going to take charge of our own narrative, tell our own stories the way we want the world to to hear us. Then the second thing is music.
Right.
We are going to be deliberate about our music, our high life and other forms of Ghanaian music. The strategy is we amplify and or we create. So we amplify the already existing platforms, events, festivals that we have already. And those that we don't have, we create. So we create new ones, like the one we are planning to go and do in Tamale Fashion Week. It will boost the economy because as people troop into Tamale, there will be the need for us to build more hotels in Tamale. So the Black Star experience, in a sense, is not going to be a centered project in Accra, in Kumasi. No, it's going to be.
And on that note, we wrap up with news tonight, this evening, here on GHOne TV. Lots more news is available on our website, starfm.com.gh. It was produced by Awisi Dede Jange. From I and the entire team, have a wonderful evening. I'm Natalie Fort.